The script that I'm reading right now is scrolling up a teleprompter that I built in about 12 minutes. I didn't write a line of it, and the AI caught its own bug before the code shipped. By the end of this video, you'll have 3 Claude commands that allow you to plan, build, and QA your code before it ships to production, and it's all done automatically. This is the workflow that I would hand any of my developers on day 1. It's what takes you from vibe coding to actually be able to write production quality code. 3 commands. Plan, build, review. And the third one, review, is a step that almost no one does. It's the one that caught the bug that I just mentioned. And I'll show you exactly what it caught at the end. For these 3 skills, you only need 1 copy and paste prompt that I'll show you later in this video. So here's the problem with how most of us use Claude Code right now. Vibe coding is firing off 1 huge prompt and hoping for the best. For something real and complex, that goes sideways. It builds the wrong thing, or the right thing, the wrong way. The fix is the loop that experienced builders use, the one that I'm gonna explain in this video. Plan first, agree on the approach, then build, then review. You can use Claude's built-in plan mode by pressing Shift-Tab, but I prefer the skill that I built because it's much more thorough. You can catch a wrong assumption that Claude made in a minute or 2, and then you can arrive on an agreed approach and start building. Learn this loop and execute it a few times, and you'll get in the habit of building so much faster with fewer bugs. That's the entire point of these commands. So let's install them and start building. Head over to my website here and you will see this lesson. Getting these 3 skills is just 1 copy paste. So you can expand this and see the full prompt here. We're going to hit copy. We'll go over to the terminal. I use Warp. You'll probably type Claude to start. I type DSP, which I made as an alias for dangerously skip permissions. So that opens Claude. We'll paste the command in here and then watch it build. So what it's gonna do is build these 3 skills globally, so they'll work in any of your projects. All right, so that looks like it's done, and I'm just gonna go ahead and restart Claude so those skills can be seen. Restart is required. And for this, I'm not gonna build a regular to-do list like you see on most videos. I plan on recording pretty frequently for YouTube, and right now I'm just using one of those like free teleprompter websites, and it's not fit to what I want it to be. So I'm just gonna build my own, right? So I have a few examples here of plan, like you can plan dark mode, you can build something, but these are the prompts that I'm gonna use for this exact video, and I'm going to use /spec-plan, and this is the prompt I'm gonna use to build the teleprompter that I'm using on this video. So I'm gonna go ahead and copy that. I will paste it into Claude, and it's going to fire off that skill. So what spec-plan does is it actually sends a helper to study the project, then writes a detailed plan to a file on your computer. So I'm gonna speed up this part, but watch what it produces. So you can see here it wrote the to-do, and it actually wrote it to a file. So let's open the teleprompter plan and see what that file looks like. All right, so it created a whole file of the plan, right? It says Chase creates YouTube videos, and it created an entire plan for exactly what the file is gonna look like. So now that's something that we can reference during the build. Now, this is the part that most people miss. This spec file is just a plan, and we can go over that plan with Claude as much as needed before deciding to move forward. We have not made any code at all yet. So what's gonna happen now is I'm going to confirm the plan looks good, which it does, and then we're gonna run the build command. So what this next command is going to do is it's going to spawn a sub agent, or it may use the main chat here, and it's going to hand that plan to the build skill and start building. So let's go ahead and copy the command here. It's just /spec-build and then the teleprompter path, and let's paste it in here. So you can see I got an error. I've seen this sometimes when you start with a slash command. So let's type run and then paste it. Spec-build points a helper at the plan. It implements every step, runs the builds, and if it passes, it moves the plan to a done folder. I also use dangerously skip permissions. So this whole thing runs automatically. And then when it's done with the build, it moves it to the done folder. It doesn't stop at every checkpoint and ask if it can edit things, because I've done dangerously skip permissions, and it's just following the plan step by step. Just because the build skill runs and the plan file is moved to the done folder doesn't mean that we're done yet. So Claude actually built this really well, but I'm gonna make sure that our review skill works. So what I've done is I've introduced a bug in the teleprompter so the mirror mode does not work. Let's see if our QA skill catches it. Let's take a look at what we've created so far. Looks like it's scrolling well, size works, speed works, full screen works. It's pretty awesome. We can pause it, we can edit it, but mirror mode is not working. So let's run our QA command and see if we can catch it. So our review skill pulls every requirement out of the plan and checks it piece by piece. It compares it to the code that actually got written. It does this line by line and then gives a verdict. It did not know about this bug that I introduced with another Claude thread, so it found it based on the specs and the implementation, and it's correcting itself. The review caught the bug and fixed itself. Let's open it up and see if mirror mode works correctly. Yes, success. So this is the difference between vibe coding and how an engineer actually works by looping commands. Now, you don't need these 3 specific commands for everything. If something is a very small feature, you can just use the built-in Claude plan by pressing Shift Tab. But I recommend for anything that's going to be more than maybe 50 lines of code, or if you just want to be as thorough as possible, then I would recommend using these commands that you will install during this video. I actually will use this teleprompter that I built, but beyond that, this is something that can actually drive app development and lead you to production level code with as few bugs as possible. So please use it and you will see an immediate difference in the quality of your code. So that's the loop: plan, build, review. They're all very important, but the review command, as you saw with the bug fix, is what's really going to take the quality of your code to the next level. This is all one clean cycle: plan, build, review. And that teleprompter that we've built, I've been reading off it this whole time. I needed a tool and was able to build it in 10 minutes rather than paying for a subscription. The one prompt that you need for these 3 commands and the whole walkthrough is in the link in the video description. Paste it once, it's created globally, and you can use it anywhere in any project. These commands are only as good as the plan that's created, and the plan is only as good as what Claude knows about your project. So think through each feature thoroughly, use the command to create a plan, then build, then QA, then ship. You'll also be able to access the teleprompter that I built in this video by going to aiserviceengine.com/teleprompter. Please like and subscribe to support the channel. Thanks.